Let's call this meeting to order. Welcome to the meeting of the Rotary Club of Beaumont. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Our invocation today will be led by Joanne Brown, Major Gifts Officer at Lamar University, and our pledge to the U.S. and Texas flags by Shanna Quinn, Financial Advisor Edward Jones. Joanne.
Thank you, President. Good afternoon, Rotarians and friends. As we follow the weekly tradition of opening our meeting in prayer, it is good to recognize how different we are. Our talents, our dreams, our backgrounds, our occupations. And it is good to know that when each of us were created, the mold was broken. No one is exactly like anyone else. Even our thumbprint and our voice track tell us how unique we are. Yet, we give thanks to God that we can all take these differences and mobilize them for the good of Rotary and our community. Let us take a moment to reflect on all the religions represented today in our Rotary meeting, and also for the common bond. Let us also recall that when we received the invitation to join today's meeting as a guest or a friend or a member, we were not asked, are you Protestant, Hindu, a Muslim, a Jew, a Catholic, a Buddhist, or a Sikh? We were not asked because all religions are welcome in the Rotary family. With our friends beside us and no person beneath us, with the bonds of Rotary between us and our worries behind us and our goals before us and no task beyond us, with our thirst for knowledge and a dream of a polio-free and a COVID-free world, we are thankful for our Rotary friends and the virtual meeting we are about to share today. So I hope you will join me, please, in closing our invocation today as a solidified group of one, a solidified group of Rotarians, and repeat along with me, thank you, shalom, amen. Thank you, shalom, amen.
Very nice prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Locke.
Join me as we pledge allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Joanne and Shanna. Next, to report on board action, we have Jay Wilson, Secretary.
Thank you, Madam President. The board met on November 17th for a monthly meeting, and at the meeting, 3 members were terminated: Lori Allen, Kathy Cheshire, and Stephanie Roberts. In other business, we set the date of our annual meeting for next Wednesday, December 9th. The annual meeting date is when we hold elections for incoming board members and 1 new trustee to the Beaumont Rotary Foundation board. We will hold the election electronically this year during the meeting, and you must be present at this annual meeting in order to vote for these positions. Finally, the board voted electronically to refund the room assessment fee that was charged to members for July through December when we have not been able to meet at the Elegante. You will see that reflected on the next invoice for your January to June 2021 dues. The invoices will be prepared in the next week or so, and if you are planning to change your membership status, please let President Cindy or Jackie know right away, as we are invoiced by Rotary International for every person who's on our membership roster on January 1, and you will incur that debt if your invoice is not paid on or before January 1. And that concludes board action.
Thank you, Jay. Now we're going to do the opinion poll again. Jackie's going to put it up to just kind of see what our comfort level is of returning to in-person meetings. And we do discuss that at every board meeting we have, and we want to keep the safety of all our members in mind. So if you don't mind, answer the question 1 and question 2. Thank you. Now, Gary Moncla is going to talk to us about the Salvation Army bell ringing.
Thank you, Cindy. We'll begin on Saturday, the 12th, so that's not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday after that. We got some people have signed up, but we still have a lot of open sessions like 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. We have nobody signed up. Of course, we'll be able to social distance very easily. We'll be setting up in the front of the mall at the main entrance at Parkdale. I will be bringing some hand sanitizer, and we'll have some disinfectant spray and paper towels and stuff to wipe everything down. So everything will be safe for everybody. We can definitely social distance. And if it's cold, your mask will probably feel good to you. So, but anyway, please sign up. Jackie's going to be sending out another email after the meeting today. So if you haven't signed up and you'd like to, there's still plenty all throughout the day that are available to sign up for. So please be looking for that email. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. And now Tim Sadella is going to tell us about the holiday party.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I'm excited to see everyone. You too, Ted. And 2 weeks from today, December the 16th, will be our annual holiday party. From noon to 1, it's going to be like a traditional Rotary meeting, but it's not going to be traditional. There may or may not be singing. There may or may not be wild animals, but I can promise you that it will be magical. So make sure that you're here 2 weeks from today, noon to 1, for the Rotary holiday party. For the new members, this is a reminder that we will announce the president nominee at this meeting. The president nominee will become our club president on July 1st, 2022. Very important role in that our president-elect, Bradley Brown, will come into play July 1st, 2021. And so there may be some cleaning up to do by this president nominee. So very important role. So I was going to suggest that everybody wear a tacky sweater, but looking around at the Zoom meeting, it looks like y'all have already started doing that. So just show up. We're going to have fun, very informal, but I promise you this will be a little bit different from our traditional holiday party. No cost, a lot of fun. Last time we will gather together as a Rotary Club. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Tim. And now to introduce our guest speaker, we have John Lee, Business Advisor at Lamar University's Small Business Development Center. John?
Morning, Cindy. President Cindy, excuse me. I'd like to introduce ShaRhonda Walker. ShaRhonda Walker is an Operation Hope financial well-being coach. She specializes in credit and money management. In her career, she's had many roles, including financial services, positions as a loan officer, real estate investor and owner, and a consultant in credit restoration. Her simple philosophy of pay yourself and invest in yourself first has paid many dividends to her and the individuals she has coached in credit, taxes, and finances. ShaRhonda is a native Texan, born and raised in Fort Worth, where she attended Dunbar High School and North Lake College. So I would like to take a minute to introduce to the group ShaRhonda Walker.
She's muted at the moment.
Thank you. I'm not all that great with Zoom calls. I'm ShaRhonda Walker. I won't go back and reintroduce myself. John did a great job of explaining my bio to you guys. I'm so happy to be here with you with your Rotary Club members today. And I'm going to talk about what we at Operation Hope do. Have any one of you guys heard of Operation Hope? Okay, perfect. So we are a nonprofit organization that focuses on financial literacy in the LMI communities. I'm based here out of Houston, Texas, but Operation is a nationwide organization. We have coaches all over the country. So our goal is to coach all individuals up to a 700 credit score, as well as help them reduce their debt and increase their savings. So we're very proud of our mission and our initiative. So if you guys are ready, I'll just kind of go through just a quick run through of when I do a credit coaching session, what it encompasses. Also keep in mind that what we do as a nonprofit, our services that we give out to the community is for free. We never charge anything, okay? So that's something that's great to pass along to your members or anyone that you feel like they need of our services. So I am going to share my screen with you guys. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we see you fine.
Perfect. Can you see the PowerPoint presentation? Okay.
Yes,
Perfect.
sure can.
So again, as I said, this is our credit and money management program. I'm going to skip over our video because for technical reasons with Zoom calls, it just doesn't work as well as we would like it to. But it is basically a video from our founder, John Hope Bryant, that really talks about, his passion and the reason why he started, Operation Hope. We did start after the Rodney King beatings out of LA and the Watts riot. So he goes in depth to that. So if you ever get the opportunity to go on YouTube to Google John Hope Bryant, you can see a ton of videos where he really talks about, Operation Hope and his life story and what his goal is and what he aims to accomplish. He's very inspiring and motivated. And he's a book writer. He's wrote several books as well. So I'll just skip over that. This is how he looks. That way, if anyone wants to do any research on him, you're looking at the right person when you see this face, but he's amazing. Operation Hope has been in service for over 26 years. We have programs that have empowered 1.8 million adults with financial dignity, 1 million youth with financial literacy, 2.7 billion economic activity directed into disenfranchised community, and over 1.2 million individuals that supported our disaster preparedness and recovery services. That's actually how I got my start with Operation Hope. I came in after Hurricane Harvey on the disaster end, helping those individuals recover financially from the disaster. As we know with Harvey, everything was devastated. People lost their money, their homes, and a lot of their credit took a great toll on recovering from that. Again, I'm based in Houston, Texas. My office is in 3rd Ward. Right now, we're in the virtual environment, so I'm working from home. But normally when I'm working, I am in the Truist, which was BB&T, but now Truist Bank that's located in 3rd Ward. So. Our community uplift model, as again, we have our Hope Inside Adult. That's the environment program that I work inside of. Hope Inside Youth, Hope Inside the Workplace. Those are sponsors like Delta Airlines, UPS, that will have a coach like myself that is planted actually inside that location. And our Hope Inside Disaster, which I just spoke on that goes into activated when a disaster happens. So now that we are in COVID, we do have those coaches that are helping those individuals recover from COVID, as well as the hurricane season as well that we're dealing with. So we have basically a huge team in Puerto Rico that is still helping those individuals in Puerto Rico recover from all those disasters that the island has suffered. So that's just a little breakdown on our uplift models. So what I talk about is credit and money management. So again, I'm a credit and money management coach. I'll go through this presentation really, really fast. I won't take too much of your time, and we can just have basically laid back Q&A after. So one of the things that I teach during my coaching session on my workshops is understanding your credit, what makes up your credit score, knowing your rights as a consumer, and how to establish and rebuild your credit profile. As John mentioned in my bio, I was a licensed loan officer. I've been an underwriter, so I know credit, I understand credit very well, as well as budgeting and financing. That's just through living life, okay? So I teach individuals how to get a copy of their credit report for free every year and sending them to annualcreditreport.com where they can pull all 3 credit bureaus. They won't get their credit score, but they will get to see what's on their credit report. That way they can know that those things are accurate and everything is reporting correctly. If there's anything that they don't agree with, then we go to the next stage as far as disputing those inaccuracies. But everyone should always have a copy of their credit report every year and know what's on their credit. I then go through understanding. Most individuals don't understand what their credit score ranges is, what's good credit, what's bad credit, what's excellent credit. So I just break down those things as far as the ranges of their credit. I pull their credit, it's totally for free. We have a contract with TransUnion. We're just closing on a contract with Equifax as well. So we'll be pulling those credits, we can look at it, and then that way they'll see their score. If I pull their credit, they'll see their score, as well as it doesn't hit them as a hard inquiry because it's for educational purposes. So it won't impact their credit as well. So then I teach them the different ranges of what's credit, score ranges, what lenders look at you and which ranges, how it affects your interest rates, what you pay in a mortgage, and so forth. I then break down the percentages. And really the biggest thing is what lenders look at is how do you pay your bills each month? Paying your bills on time makes up the largest chunk of your credit score. The next is your total debt utilization. Keeping those credit cards at 30% or below your debt utilization. You look less risky to lenders and they're more likely to approve you for that loan when they see that you're not maxing out your credit cards and living off your debt. The length of time that you have your credit, not closing out those credit accounts. A lot of misinformation is that when you pay a credit card off, they want to close it. And they don't understand that that actually impacts your credit score negatively and makes your credit score drop. So I teach them how to get out of debt, but keep the credit history because that's going to help increase your score over the period of time. And then account diversity, understanding your credit mix. You don't want to have all installments and then not have any revolving accounts, and then vice versa, not having a bunch of credit card debt and then not having the revolving accounts. You want a great mix of credit. And then lastly, new credit. That looks risky when a person is really out there just applying for credit. And I know we're in a current pandemic where individuals are needing credit, but it does affect their score. And really with the holiday season, I tell individuals, you know, if you're in Macy's, say no to the extra 20% off to get the discount versus opening a credit card because it's not worth it of what it affects you as far as your hard inquiry, bringing your credit score as a new account. If you max it out, that it impacts you. And the interest rates are normally a lot higher on department store cards. So I teach those things. And we just went over the payment history, the percentages. I just kind of go delve a little deeper. And then the types of credit, then to understand revolving versus installment. Revolving is credit cards, home equity lines of credit, so forth. Your installments are going to be your mortgage, your student debts, your car payment, and any personal loan. You know, your light bill is not going to be on your credit as a trade line or an account. So I just teach them to understand the differences. And then if they want to dispute any negative items, I let them know how long things stay on there. We have a lot of individuals that will have collections or charge-offs and let them know that, okay, we think it's 7 years from the date, but understand that those collection agencies can sell that debt, and it can then start that 7 years over. And if you're wondering why you've had a collection account that's been on your credit for 10 years, it's because you get caught up in that whirlwind of having that debt constantly being sold over and over and over. So I teach them effectively like how to settle that debt, as well as getting that debt removed from the credit, which would then also increase your credit score. If you have judgments, bankruptcies, federal taxes, state taxes, which we're in Texas, so more is federal taxes, that those, will stay on your credit for 7 years, but they can remain indefinitely, depending on what type of debt it is and what type of lien it is. And then lastly, I teach them their rights, knowing their rights, the equal rights, the Credit Card Accountability and Responsible and Disclosure Act, Fair Credit Report, and the Fair Debt Collection Practicing Act. So if anyone is falling victim to harassing creditors, I teach them how to deal with them and how to know their rights. So when they're talking to these creditors, they can talk to them in the legal terminology where the creditors will back off if they are doing anything that's illegal or harassing them. And then the great part that I love is I teach them how to establish and rebuild their credit. Life happens to all of us. And I myself have had life happen to me where I've had to start over financial wise. So I teach them things that they can do to rebuild their credit. Or if they're just, one of those individuals that was brought up thinking that cash was king and they don't have credit, then I teach them how to establish credit and how to establish it where it doesn't impact them hardship, that you're not getting a lot of inquiries on your credit, you're not paying out a lot of money, something that's very workable with their budget. And normally, if we were not in COVID, I would be taking appointments in person at my office, but right now, all my appointments are virtually. I'm very flexible. Most of my clients do work 40-hour work weeks, so I take appointments really after work, sometimes on the weekend, sometimes on their lunch break. It's very, very, I'm very, very client friendly with that. And to book with me, you can either call me at my direct line, you can email me at the email address below, or you can go to my booking app, which is ShaRhondaWalker.youcanbook.me, which will then give you like the date and time, and you just schedule the appointment. So that's really in a nutshell. I know I went really, really fast with that. That's really in a nutshell of what I do with my coaching clients, and I will open the floor for any questions that you may have. Thank you, guys.
Hey, ShaRhonda.
I have a quick question. Thank you for being with us today. I appreciate the information. Is most of your work one-on-one, or would you have, do you sometimes go to like a company and provide a presentation that could then lead to a one-on-one collaboration? And also, you're based in Houston. Do you get outside that area, or is there some connection to the Beaumont area?
I was talking to John about that. I know there's not a coach in Beaumont. I think we're working on what modifications we can do. So your name is Tim, correct? So Tim, pre-COVID, absolutely yes. I would always go into organizations and companies. I had a direct strategic alliance with AT&T, where I would go into their offices and I would host these workshops, and then I would then come back maybe once or twice a week and would sit down with their employees and coach their employees, whether it be on a lunch break or allotted time that AT&T gave them. So to your question, yes. Now with COVID, everything is kind of Zoom, that I give my workshops, and then the coaching is going to be Zoom. But we're hoping that once this pandemic is over, we can get right back to boots on the ground.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had a question, ShaRhonda, if I could ask you. I used to work for Habitat for Humanity here in Jefferson County, and I was wondering, does Operation Hope collaborate with organizations like Habitat, where you're always trying to help the homeowners improve their financial literacy so that they can make, better choices and better investments and all of that, and take advantage of their situation. I was just wondering, do you work with the Habitat over there in Houston?
I was working with Habitat more when I was on the disaster side of it. But yet I still have those referrals. But to answer your question, yes, we do that. I'm not limited to any organization. I can work with whomever that I want to. If there is a need for my services, I'm more than happy to go in.
I know someone else had a question.
Well, I was going to say something, Cindy. Thanks, ShaRhonda. I really much appreciate it. I would encourage people to go on YouTube and look up John Hope Bryant and look at some of his videos. The one that's in her presentation, which, I talked to her, the ones that we've done previously just didn't work very well. So that's why she was unable to show it. But it is an inspiring video. And he talks about the fact that there's so many millions of people out there that basically just didn't get the memo. The people that did are the people that are successful. And, it's just, they're not taught that. And they don't understand how finance works. They don't understand how credit works. And then which means they're excluded from one of the things that's so important to be able to build wealth and to get out of poverty. So the fact that people like ShaRhonda are embedded in banks and in some companies and other places to be able to help people is, I think they're doing a fantastic job. And I have been talking to some of the people in Atlanta at their headquarters about how we get a representative here in Beaumont. Because I think it would be very, very worthwhile. But again, ShaRhonda, thank you so much.
You're welcome, John.
Yes, thank you, ShaRhonda. And you pointed out a good, just an easy thing for people that are just young and going in. Don't say yes to every time they ask you at the, any store you go to now, I get you, sign up for a credit card. I can see where that, it's been a long time ago that I started with the Dillard's credit card back in the 80s, but you didn't know at the time how that was affecting you. So it's just a really simple piece of advice that we can give to people. And also it was interesting to me to learn that paying your bills on time is the biggest chunk of what makes your credit score good. And that's an easy way too, to just maybe get one bill, one loan and focus on making sure you pay that on time all the time.
That's great. Yeah, you're right, Cindy. As you were saying with the Dillard's credit card, I remember being like 18 and getting the Dillard's credit card. And for whatever reason in my head, I thought it was free money. Okay. So I was one of those individuals that, okay, I get an extra % off of what I'm buying today and I get this credit card. And I got in trouble so fast, just as John always say, not knowing the memo, not getting it, just thinking that this is money or that I could just pay them when I want to. So what we try to do, that's why I love our youth program, is because we try to start at the youth level and educate them now, so they won't make the same mistakes that we made, as they're matriculating through life.
Can you talk a little bit about the youth program?
I'm not a youth counselor. I'm not a youth counselor. I would love to be a youth counselor, but our coaches basically, they go into the school systems and do what I do. They give workshops on same thing, just design where a youth would understand it, understanding credit, what makes a credit score up, how to save, how to get out of debt, and so forth.
Interesting. Well, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Sharon and I had one example where a little self-help. We had a child that abused credit, and we resolved the issue by not only taking the credit cards away, but using them only at gas stations. She bought all her gas, I bought all my gas, so we didn't have to sign anything, and it wasn't a fraud that way. And after a year of buying gas, his credit rating was totally restored.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, and when I'm coaching or whether I'm giving a workshop, especially if I'm giving a workshop and I have a crowd, we dive deep. You know, it's almost kind of like a really organic flowing conversation that I have with them. You know, people give suggestions on things that they've done of what's worked for them, you know, so it's also one of those things where I'm not just the only one just educating. The people who are in my workshops are participating as well and giving their peers, you know, suggestions on what has helped them overcome situations as well. So I love that about what we do.
Any further questions?
I have a question. This is John Eugene. ShaRhonda, you said you're not, you guys are not stationed in the Beaumont area. Is that for, go ahead.
No, we don't have a coach in the Beaumont area. There's 2 coaches in Houston. Myself, there's another person. When we were during disaster, we had an uptick of about 5 coaches that was helping with Harvey. But now, since we're just focused on the credit money management piece and financial literacy and COVID, you know, everybody's nationwide. So we technically don't have a coach in Beaumont as of yet. That can always change, but we're all virtual. So there's nothing stopping me or any other coach from helping any resident in the Beaumont area.
That answers my question right there. Thank you very much. And very good presentation. A lot of good information. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, John Lee, for inviting me.
And we thank you, John Eugene, for attending with us today.
Great,
ShaRhonda,
great.
you're welcome anytime. You're welcome anytime. It's so good to see you, even if it's just your picture up there. Well, we thank you, ShaRhonda, for being with us today and sharing this information. Checking the chat just to make sure I didn't have anything else that they needed to ask you. And your honor, we'll be making a donation to the Rotary Foundation in your name. And one of our lanes of service, areas of service, is economic and community development. So we're so glad to get your name in there as somebody that we're honoring today. So thank you again for spending your time with us and sharing what you've got and answering some of our questions. And best of luck to you as this year rounds out.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to you guys as well.
Now, a reminder that we'll be holding elections next week at the meeting, so please attend so you can vote. Our speaker next week is going to be Amanda Yarbrough, Executive Director of the Beaumont Children's Museum, and she's going to tell us a little bit how they're continuing to enrich the lives of the children at the museum during this time. The following week will be our holiday party, and Tim, he's just a funny guy. You know, we're going to have a lot of fun. There's no telling who he's going to make some wisecrack about at that party, so we don't want to miss it. So in closing, let's finish off with the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a good week and go out and find opportunities to lead and serve. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.